I canceled Wake Up to take care of myself, and I don't regret it. Hello world and welcome to the video. I feel like it's been so long and I am about to release something really cool and I will tell you all about it at the end of this video, but I first wanted to preface all of it and explain why I canceled my daily show. So for those of you who don't know, I hosted my own daily show on Instagram stories 5 days a week for the majority of like 2.5 years. And it was originally called Level Your Pussy Up. And then in order to be more, marketable, it was changed to Wake Up with the goal of like keeping you woke. I started it after the 2016 election. I was in my hometown and I was like, the people need to know what's going on. Like there are important things happening and the news is overwhelming and sad. And so I was like, I'm going to talk about the 3 most important things every single day in like a funny way and make jokes and like be sarcastic and like it'll be really fun and like accessible for people because people are like, they're like, I don't understand world affairs, national affairs. I'm not going to like read, MSNBC. Please don't read Fox News or like any other major news source. And so I was like, I could fill that gap so easily. I was looking at literally like my friends and I was like, these are people that will want to know, but like there's a barrier there. And I was trying to break down that barrier. And I loved Wake Up. It got me a lot of opportunities. And I also know that it was a lot of people's primary news source, which is very, very amazing, but also like terrifying. Hundreds of people watched every day. And yep. It's just wild to think like I made a thing for 2.5 years that people watched every single day. And I think it's wild for me to think about it because I, for a lot of that time, didn't like it. If I'm being honest, I revamped the show and like changed different segments and stuff as one does a few different times. And in the end, I decided to cancel the show entirely. And I did that in March of 2019, after starting in like January of 2017. It was like a hard decision, but also really easy. Maybe I'll make a video about like, I took a month and a half off from making YouTube videos, Wake Up, Instagram. I didn't even post anything on Instagram and I never post anything on Facebook. So whatever. Because I was like going through it and trying to find out what makes me happy. And I had to take a step back and be like, what am I getting out of this show? Like I had dreams for it to like get sponsored and do ads and throw things in there and like make connections. And I did some of those things. But I had to really be like cost benefit analysis. Like, what am I getting out of this? To create one episode of Wake Up, which I did 5 days a week, I would have to scour through the news. And this would take about an hour, and I would usually do it throughout the day. But it also meant like I was on Google News, the app, on World News on Reddit, and a few other like Twitter, sifting through the news, and it was just coming at me all the time. And I'm not immune to being burnt out and overwhelmed and upset. And so that would like going through the news and sifting through it to pick out 3 things that I then tell to other people is really, it's like a very draining experience. So then I would choose my 3 news stories and then I would have to make a joke about it. And I would sit there and I would write my own jokes every day. And so I'm like taking in all of this news. A lot of it's horrible. And then I'm making a joke about it. And that's like a fun way for people to understand what's happening. But for me, I'm like, oh, the world is a really hard place right now. And I don't want to make a joke about it. Like it hurt to make light of those things. And I think that humor is a great coping mechanism, but I felt like for me personally, there was this huge gap between what I was giving to the world and the care that I was giving to myself. And there was nothing to fill that with like earnestness and honesty and bigger conversations. And I wanted to do that, and I started to dig deep to be able to do that on some topics, but Wake Up would take so much out of me that I didn't. If you look back, I just didn't do other things. And I was like, I don't want to be spending my time doing this, no matter how meaningful it is to other people. I can't do it. So if you have since Wake Up has been canceled, if you've been like, where do I get my news? Follow World News on Reddit. Get the Google News app, and get tuned into some things that are important. Make sure you use the multiple perspectives thing. Never trust Fox News because they're not a real news source. Trust BBC, NPR, Al Jazeera. Those are like the big ones that I usually trust a little bit more. But yeah, I canceled Wake Up to take care of myself, and I don't regret it. It's now September, so it's been a while, and I feel good. I mean, I feel good because canceling Wake Up was part of like a larger set of things, and I'll definitely do a video about like my happiness project journey. It's not like the Happiness Project book. It was not like, I'm not that type A. But I did tell you that I have a thing to announce, and that is that with the passing of Wake Up, I have decided that I'm now in a place, finally, to create this project that I had the idea of creating while I was doing Wake Up, and I wanted to do both of them together. But I think that it's now just makes more sense for me to do this. And it is called the Wake Up Weekly Roundup. And for those of you who've been around for most of the 2 years that I did Wake Up, you know that this once happened in a different way. The Wake Up Weekly Roundup is now a weekly podcast where we'll be taking on 1, 2, maybe 3 current events and kind of just like having a nice, earnest conversation about it. I don't really feel like being a funny, sarcastic person all the time. I am, but like naturally, I don't want to force it every day. So we're just going to sit down, and I'm literally going to start a timer. The podcast will never be more than 10 minutes unless it's a special bonus episode where we're like getting really into something or have a special guest, which is fully possible. Yeah, it's going to be just kind of like a broad overview of like, this is what's happening this week with things, and also like, this is why it's important to know about this. This is how it's going to impact the future. And also, this is how it's impacting me emotionally, and maybe how it might be impacting you, and opening up some like more meaningful conversations on the internet in like a calm way. Also, because I don't watch the news and I barely read the news now because I'm tired and I'm sad. So Wake Up Weekly Roundup is going to be like a calm, earnest space to have some like interesting discussions about the news, what's actually happening, and how it's making us feel. So I hope that you tune in. It will be hosted right here on YouTube. So it's like a vodcast, and I'm really excited, and I hope you are too. Bye.